Hello friend, Jim here with JB's Big Adventure, coming to you from Lake Chapala, Mexico. And yes, I'm going to be sharing with you, I just done a last few videos in regards to a trip that I made up to the border with our car. And I've actually had quite a few people actually request information more on a specific detail type of thing, just so I know there's a lot more people that are going to be driving their cars down just because it's a good idea to have a car here. But let me take you through the steps. So when you're in the States or when you're in Canada, if you're going to be driving a car into Mexico, it has to have a TIP, a temporary import permit. Now, that is exactly what it says, temporary. It isn't something that's permanent on the car. It's like the car's visa to legally be in Mexico. I also encourage everyone, make sure that tip is inside your glove box at all times. We got stopped once and it turned out that our tip, we had the renewal tip in the car, but not the original. So they actually want to make sure that you have the original tip or a copy of the original tip actually in the glove box. Okay, so it is legal to be driving a foreign plated car in Mexico for two different levels of residency. The first one is what's called a tourist visa. Now, this is used a lot from folks that basically live like in San Diego and go back and forth to Tijuana, because your tip is always active as long as your visa is active. So, you're a tourist, you're a tourist visa, you're in the States, you drove your car down here to Lake Chapala. That car and you have to go back to the border within those 180 days. You have to go back to the border, you have to cancel your tip, and then drive across the border, and then re-enter Mexico, and you'll have to renew your tip and then drive down here to Lake Chapala. So that's if you have a tourist visa. There are folks I know that do that do not have the financial means to be able to qualify for the solvency requirements that Mexico is requiring. So they come down for, basically it's 180 days, but it's not 6 months, because there's a real difference in that. It's 180 days, not 6 months. So if you're a tourist visa, you have to go back and forth. Now, it's legal to drive a foreign plated car when you in fact are a temporal visa holder. You get to be a temporal for 4 years. So your foreign plated car from the United States is legally able to be driven in Mexico on that tip, that temporary import permit. Now, because of the fact that your temporal is a total of 4 years, and let's say, for example, that you can only get it for 1 year at a time. So you sign up, you get qualified to be a temporal. After the first year that you're a temporal, you've got a choice to make. You can either pay for the renewal each year for your tip, or you go ahead and pay for the next 3 years of your residency, which means you've only paid twice. You paid for the first year as a temporal visa, and then you can have it 3 more years. So whether you do it for the 3 years or whether you do a year at a time, you got to make sure that your tip is renewed. Okay, so that's utilizing it as a temporal. Once you become a permanente, it is no longer legal for you to drive a foreign plated car in Mexico. I really want to stress that. It's illegal to drive a foreign plated car in Mexico as a permanente or as a permanent resident visa. Okay, now it's Mexico, so there's all kinds of things that I've heard about that. But let's say that you're here, you've got a newer vehicle, and you want to keep the vehicle. You can actually get it nationalized. So step one, or to say option number one, is you can get it nationalized. Now, I've developed a relationship with a gentleman who's an expat, but he's been here for a lot of years, like 20, 25 years, fully bilingual. And he has a service that he offers of one of two things. The first is you can actually get your car nationalized. There's some requirements with that. It's around $5,000. And I think it depends on the year of the car and the vehicle and some things. So in other words, you can get it legalized so you can keep your car, but it actually becomes a Mexican plated car. Now, if you're going to legalize that car, he still has to take the car and cross the border. He's got to cancel the tip at the border, cross into the States, and then come back into Mexico, and it's then registered as a Mexican registered licensed vehicle. Okay, so that's option number one. Option number two is he has a service, a relationship with the CarMax dealership that is actually in San Antonio, Texas. So what he offers is he contacts CarMax, sends pictures, and they give him an offer of what they feel that your car is worth. If you say, hey, that's great for me, he has a service. He takes your car, drives it to the border, cancels the tip, and then drives it to San Antonio, gets it sold. They give him a check, and then you've got your check within 48 hours. You no longer have to be worried about that car. It's been legally taken out of the country and been sold. So that was option number two. Option number three is the option that we had to do for a couple different reasons. So the third option is driving the car back to the border, canceling the tip, cross the border, and then sell the car. That makes the car legally out of the country. Again, you've got to go to the border, cancel your tip. You've got to then drive the car across the border and then just sell it there. That is the third option. Now, there is a reason why we could not nationalize our car and that we could not sell our car in Mexico. If your vehicle, the VIN number, which is the vehicle identification number, if the VIN number starts with a letter, so in other words, our car was a Toyota, so the VIN started with a J, meaning it was actually manufactured not in the States, but in Japan. So if you drive a Honda or a Toyota, a Lexus, an Acura, and it has a J, you cannot legally have that car in Mexico once you go to become a Permanente. Also, for Hyundai, which is Korean, it'd have a K. BMW, Mercedes would have a G because it's German. So if those vehicles are actually manufactured out of the country, out of the US, and they're here, and the VIN starts with a letter, you cannot legally drive that car in Mexico as a Permanente. Okay, so what I found out after speaking with probably 3 attorneys, that's including my immigration attorney, some other individuals that had a service that would take care of your car, and I must have been told about 7 or 8 times that, oh, no problem. You can sell the car. I'll charge you a fee. You can sell the car. I'll take care of the paperwork. You won't have to worry about it. I want you to know, and this is really, really important, if you cannot drive the car legally in Mexico, whether it's got a letter in the VIN, whether it's too old, whatever the reason might be, that car has to go back to the border. It has to have the tip canceled and then driven across the border. If not, and I mean, financially, it was real difficult for us because we knew we were going to have to get another car. We're living on Social Security. And it was just at a difficult time because we also had to pay for a permanente. So there's a lot of things at one time. And when you're living on an individual income, it's not easy necessarily as somebody that's got the money. We didn't sell a house when we came down, so it's not like we had a bank account with a bunch of money in it. So if you sell your car to somebody here and it's illegal, in other words, it's got a J in the VIN, or you're giving it to somebody here that says, hey, I'm a Mexican, I'll go ahead and take it, I'll take care of the paperwork and all, and that person gets in an accident and somebody dies, you are held 100% responsible. Let me say that again, because my immigration attorney made it really, really clear to me that if that car does not cross or does not go to the border, the tip is canceled and the car goes into the States, you're held fully responsible for anything that happens with that car. Believe me, I had many offers and people wanting to buy the car. Hey, we'll give you $3,000 for it. And then what happens is they got the car, we got the $3,000, but the car is still connected to us. Something happens, you're held responsible. You're held responsible for it. So it's really important that that car goes to the border, has the tip canceled, and then crosses into the States, and the car can be sold. I had people tell me, hey, I hear that the expats, they take their cars to Guadalajara, leave the keys inside, and report them stolen. I just couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. Or just keep on driving it around. Just keep on driving your car around, and if they stop you, just pay them the bribe. And that wouldn't be right. Here's the other thing. What if they didn't want to take the bribe and they wanted to take the car? That car is still in Mexico. Impounded in Mexico. But somebody's going to get the car. They're going to drive it around. And something happens. I wouldn't want anybody to have to go through that. So I call those the illegal options. So I think that I've covered everything here. I really tried to make sure that I was a bit more specific of different things. So just know that it's important for us as expats to make sure that we're doing things legally. That's really important. That shows character, that shows honesty, that shows that you really care about the culture of Mexico. So anyway, I hope that's been helpful for you. I know there's a lot of people wanting to drive their cars down now because it's just a lesser way of coming down versus, they sell everything then drive down. It's easier than going back and having to sell a house with a bunch of stuff in it, what you're going to do and all that kind of thing. So that's one of the options that people choose to do. So again, as always, thank you so much for being a part of this channel and a part of this community. Have an awesome day. We'll see you on the next video.